Hello, everyone. Ah, I hope you're doing well. I typically do not have the web capability to go live. So I got my Spice Girls shirt on. Don't mind me here. Got my mom bun doing some computer work in this lovely area that has good internet. So I wanted to go live and talk to you a little bit about what I'm working on. And I recently completed my thyroid course, which I wrote an ebook when I first launched my website. I wrote an ebook for my opt-in for my newsletter. And what I've done is I've revamped that ebook, and then I have taken it as a framework for my thyroid course. So if you don't know anything about me, if this is the first time seeing this video, my name is Lindsay Coe. I am an integrative nutrition health coach, and I have been practicing integrative nutrition since June of 2016. So I have been helping women regain their health by addressing root cause factors and figuring out, why is your thyroid underactive, like mine was? Why are your hormones out of balance? And when I say out of balance, I mean that usually progesterone is low, estrogen might be high, and there's just dysfunction going on. HPA Axis Dysfunction was also something that I experienced, and I help other women with. Some of them know they have it, some of them suspect that they have it, or they're told by a functional medicine practitioner that they have it. So what that is that's when the hypothalamus gland, the pituitary gland, and the thyroid area, the adrenals, HPA, hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenals, there's a feedback loop, there's a communication between those glands, and basically everything goes offline and they are not communicating properly. And this affects your ovaries, this affects your thyroid, because everything is connected, right? That's what we keep learning in integrative health or functional medicine, is that everything is connected. So it's not like you're just working on the parts of a machine or a car. You're looking at a whole system that is integrated, that is symbiotic, works together, depends on each other to get the job done, to keep you healthy and functioning at an optimal level. So I went through my own issues with my hypothyroidism, my HPA axis dysfunction. So I started working on things in the fall of 2014. I became pregnant in the fall of 2016 with my second child. I had my first child. I was told, you are completely void. You have no sex hormones. You're going into menopause. You're in perimenopause. You will need some type of hormonal assistance to get pregnant. That was what I was told. And I thought, I'm 30. Like, how is that even possible? I'm young. Like that, there has to be something wrong that I'm doing, and I need to figure out what it is and fix it. So that's what I did. It took me a little while. I went on a wild goose chase, or if you follow me on Instagram, I shared a funny meme of a video of people on this basket boat in Vietnam, and they're just like going in a circle. That to me represented what I went through to get better. So I had to share that alongside the information for my thyroid course. So it took me a couple of years. It could have taken me a lot less time if I would have just done what I was initially told to do, which was build up these nutrients physically, work on these energetic things that are affecting you, and then you'll get your body back into balance. But I didn't do that because I wasn't seeing results quick enough. And I thought, well, there has to be a faster fix. And so I started jumping around, and then I went back to the original plan, which was to take on the physical nutrition, take a look at the areas of my life where I needed to feed myself so that I could serve in my roles while getting healthy. Okay. So I got pregnant naturally with Celia in the fall of 16. I had her in July of 17. We were getting ready to open an organic juice bar in the city of Pittsburgh. And not long after we opened the juice bar, I became pregnant with my third child, my daughter Brooke, naturally. And it was a surprise. It was a wonderful surprise. And just more proof that whenever you focus on the right things, okay, and when you let go and you don't try to control every aspect of every little thing, beautiful things happen, okay? So I was so inspired by the journey that I had just between that time of 2014 and 2016 with, getting pregnant with Celia. I really wanted to share that with others. And so I went back to school at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I got my temporary cert to start doing health consultations in the summer of 16. And then I graduated in December. And so Heartspeak Health was born during that time. And I started coaching other women and challenges as me. So if you are not pregnant, but you would like to be, if you have just had a baby, if you have a few children and you're having some health issues, you've got some sirens going off, if you're an older woman who is full of wisdom and you've gone through menopause or you're approaching menopause and you know that innately there's something off, maybe you're having some hormonal issues or you're having symptoms and you'd like to correct those. I can honestly help everybody in these different phases, but my concentration really is this preconception, postpartum, in the thick of motherhood group. That's who I mainly work with, but I can work with older, I can work with younger. So, because it all comes down to the same core factors over and over again that influence all these times of our lives. Okay. So, what I wanted to do was discuss 5 myths that are associated with hypothyroidism. So just hold on one second. I just want to exit full screen for a second and move this over here. Okay, because whenever I started having the issues that I was having, the first person who said, I think your thyroid is underactive, was actually my midwife. She could see that it was swollen, okay? She was seeing the swelling. She felt my neck. And she told me to see an endocrinologist. When I went to the endocrinologist, he was like, I really don't think you have a thyroid issue. But we'll do the blood work. So he did the blood work. And as it turned out, I was subclinical. So I was having symptoms, but I was not deemed as a clinical hypothyroid case. Okay. So we'll start with that myth because this is number one, because my doctor told me that my thyroid condition was genetic. He said, it will get worse. I will see you in 6 months. And at that point, you're probably going to need medication. I asked him about nutrition and he said, you can't do anything other than take medication, or you may have to get surgery at some point to correct it if it gets worse. So myth number one, my doctor told me that my thyroid condition is genetic and I can't do anything other than take medication or get surgery to correct it. So this is simply not true. Like I said, my endocrinologist at the time, I mean, he actually snickered at me when I said that I was reading about nutrition, physical nutrition, energetic nutrition, and there's foods, there's herbs, there's lifestyle changes that can help the thyroid function efficiently again. And he said to me that theoretically they say that, but he said in his experience, he had not seen that happen. So I will respectfully disagree with him and say that proper nutrition and lifestyle change has a major impact on reversing the dysfunction in our thyroids. But here's the thing, you have to be consistent and you have to believe in what you're doing. It takes a little bit of time, but it'll happen. My daughter, I mean, both of my daughters are living proof of that. Excuse me, I'm just taking a sip of my matcha. I got one at a local coffee shop this morning, and then I have my own matcha mix. Love it, green tea. So anyway, let's talk about myth number 2. I have to restrict calories and exercise vigorously to lose weight and correct my thyroid. So this is actually the opposite for many of the women I've worked with over the last 6-7 years. Time's going so fast to me. But anyway, as a matter of fact, most women are actually not getting enough to eat. I was unknowingly not eating enough. Like after I had my son, I was just so hypervigilant with him, with taking care of him, that I did not eat enough. I was like skipping meals or not eating enough at meals and not even realizing. So most women who have children are actually not eating enough because it's chaotic at times, especially like the newborn phase. And then when they're first active with walking and crawling and, you're just focused on them. You're not worrying as much about what you're eating or what you're doing. And we start to do things like, well, I'm just going to grab a cup of coffee, or I'm just going to get a pack of crackers. And it leads to this nutritional depletion. Okay. Then on top of that, you might be doing that and then you're still going to the gym or you're exercising in some way. So you're really stressing your body because you're not eating enough, and then you're working out. So this puts you in fight or flight. Okay? And that's not good, because fight or flight, what that means is that your body is thinking that you're in a dangerous situation. And so it's slowing down your processes to reserve fuel. It's slowing all the things down to protect you, to help you keep food, calories stored. Okay? Number 3, only people who have experienced weight gain have hypothyroidism. The truth is that hypothyroidism presents itself in people of all shapes and sizes, and it presents itself in different ways. I mean, I've always been a slender person. I was an athlete when I was a kid. I was always active. I've maintained being active throughout adulthood. And if you would have looked at me when I started to have issues in the summer of 2014, when I was starting to really feel like something was wrong, you would have never thought that I had an issue. You would not think I was feeling the way I was. So never judge a book by its cover, right? Okay, here's number 4. Within a couple months, we should be able to exercise and do all the things we could do before having a baby. I have to, so I can lose this baby weight. So this is, again, for people, this is going to sound odd, but forcing yourself into exercise and other pre-baby lifestyle habits may actually be causing the symptoms associated with a low functioning thyroid. Many times new moms will put themselves in situations that actually encourage the production of stress hormones, like not eating enough, having too much caffeine, having too much sugar, not getting enough rest, which we all do that, right? Not making enough time for joy and enjoyment and play, because you do need that. Or nourishing touch, which doesn't necessarily mean intimacy, but, getting a massage, doing things every day to just kind of gently detox and keep yourself clean on the inside, you know. So there are women who bounce back quickly after having a baby, but then there are plenty of women who do not. And I was one of them because I did not have a good constitution, and I didn't have good nutritional stores. I didn't understand what nutrient density was, and I certainly was not practicing it. And I'm sorry if my eyes are not looking in the right spot. I just realized that they're probably not. Okay. And so, yeah, this is rooted in a term that we talk about at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which is bioindividuality. And that's the main idea that we're all unique in how we respond to our environment and our life experiences, like having a baby. So, for instance, the constitution thing. So in the first 10 years of our lives, our constitution is built by the way we eat and by the way we live our lives. So this is a really key concept. We all have different childhoods, and that in itself is examined in my intake form with clients. So the idea is that, we have to gauge everything in our lives, especially postpartum, based upon that constitution and other factors that influence our experience and our abilities. But having said that, there are ways to hack what we've been given and build resilience and be healthy and happy and have good, solid childbearing years. Okay? All right. So this is the last one, number 5. Fruits are full of sugar and should be minimized if we are in the process of healing our thyroid or balancing hormones. So many of my clients have feared fruit over the years, and I was actually told by a nutritionist to limit my fruit intake whenever I was healing my thyroid. And it was in the summer, and I kept craving more fruit, and I thought, this is silly. I'm going to eat it. And I started to juice fruits with greens and beets and carrots, and I was making my own juices, which that's what inspired us to start a juice bar. But I started juicing, I started making smoothies, and I upped my intake of fruits. And that would have been the time right before I became pregnant with my daughter. So I feel like that was like the thing that my body needed. And the reason why is because fruits are so incredibly healing. They contain micronutrients that are processed by our bodies, and it gets processed in a slow manner because of the fiber. So in times of having a baby or recovering from birth, eating fruits, juicing, making smoothies that have these beautiful fruits and vegetables can be so nourishing and so hydrating. And, I know there's people out there who say that if you follow certain people that are more into the carnivore diet, which that's great. If that works for you, that's wonderful. And I'm a meat eater, but I think we need a variety, because there's a variety of wonderful benefits that we get from all of these different healthy foods. But there are people who say that vegetables are actually harmful because of the natural chemicals inside of them. I have not experienced any negative side effects, but again, bioindividuality. But what I think about is that our lives happen in seasons, and so does nature. So eating and drinking by the seasons of our lives, as well as the seasons in nature, provides a map for incorporating things like fruit and other earth foods into our diets. Okay? So don't fear the fruit if you are trying to heal your thyroid or your overall hormonal health. So let me tell you a little bit more about the course that I've developed. It's based on an ebook that I wrote several years ago as a free opt-in for people that were interested in signing up for my newsletter. I'm going to try to keep my eyes in the right place. And basically, so I taught school before I did health coaching. And so this is like, I love this type of thing. I split the course into 3 units. In each unit, there's 5 lessons. Okay. This course is self-paced. You can start it and finish it at your own leisure, but I will try to keep you on track. Like the ideal thing would be to do 1 lesson a week. So in every lesson, there's going to be audio, 1 to 3 audio files. You could listen while you're walking, driving, cleaning, whatever. Then with that, there are little exercises to do that will guide you to taking action, because that's what this is all about. I'm not going to overload you with a bunch of information. We are saturated with information. Saturated. I think it's great, but then I look at it and I think this is probably stressing people out because there's just so much. And I know, like, I was overwhelmed nearly 10 years ago when I was starting to just research online, and I was looking at ebooks and books on Amazon. So, you know, what we need is people to help us actually take the steps and do something. So that's what this is all about. So we will address the physical foods, the physical nutrition. We will address personal care and, you know, your home environment and how to make everything clean and healthy within reason when it comes to expense or time or energy. Because I have 3 children, I am no nonsense. I mean, look at me. I'm just, I'm more worried about getting the things out there to you and trying to help people than anything else. So it's practical. But we will also talk about the energetic stuff, like primary foods, which I learned about at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And these are the things that feed us that are not physical, they're energetic. So we've got relationships, spirituality, physical movement, and then your life purpose / career, you know, whatever it is that you do for a living, or what is it that you are doing every day that is your purpose when it comes to like work. Okay. And that can take all forms. If you stay at home with your children, that's an art form. That is a huge task that has so many smaller tasks within it. If you are working at a job in addition to having children, you have a lot going on. Experience rule and how to simplify things. Okay. When it comes to relationships, we will discuss the boundary stuff, setting the boundaries. We will discuss the importance of nurturing your relationships, you know, but then of course, putting your boundaries where you need to. The proper physical movement, and my favorite one, which is your spiritual practice, your faith. People of faith are always, when they do the research, these are the people who experience the best quality of life. They live the longest. They have joy. Faith, faith, faith. We will talk about that. And it's funny because I actually have had probably 3 clients who said to me, I don't practice a religion. I'm not a person who has really ever gone to church, but I notice that people who have a spiritual practice, they have faith, they are so much happier. They are, they have a zest for life. Like, I want to feel like that. How do I get started with that? What do I do? And I've worked with people just on that. So these are the things that we will discuss in the course. And like I said, I keep it practical, streamlined. You can do it at your own pace, but I will kind of have like a structure, and I'll say, you'll want to do these things within this amount of time, but you'll have a Facebook private group. You will have me to ask questions and reach out to if there's any concerns. You also get one virtual coaching session with me. Okay. So, and you have lifetime access to the course itself. So the material will never go away. You have it forever. You can reference it when you need to. And so it's essentially like having a toolkit that you can continually come back to. So in the description of this video, there's details on that. You can check out the page for the course. And then you can visit heartspeakhealth.com and look at the menu above. There's a link to make an appointment if you want to do a free consultation, if you want to look at my services. Then below that, you will see I have a healing drinks mini course that helps you to utilize beverages that are healing and that help your hormones and help your overall balance. I have everything from like juices to smoothies to broth, hot drinks, mocktails, mineral mocktails, all that fun stuff. And then you'll see the thyroid course on there as well. You can sign up for my newsletter, which is monthly. I do not overwhelm people with emails. I send one email a month. Sometimes I forget a month. So, you're not going to be like overwhelmed with my emails. And that's about it. And you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm going to try to do more on here this year. I've just been trying to finish up the course, but I wanted to come on and check out this live streaming and just give you some insight on what's happening and what's new. So please reach out if you have any questions. All right. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will be back. Thank you.